Good morning, boys and girls.
Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Good morning. Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so glad you came to school. Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Good morning, Mrs. Stewart. I'm so glad you came to school. Good morning, Mrs. Stewart.
Good morning. You may be seated. I want to talk to you today about something very important, something you probably already know about, but it's a good reminder. Let's look at this picture right here. There's a little boy, and he looks like he's inside of a what?
House.
It does. It's a house. And so these are some things that we need to remember so that we can stay safe and that we can stay healthy and that we can stay out of danger. We want to stay out of danger because sometimes things that we don't even think of might cause some danger and we could get hurt or very seriously sick. And so we want to keep out of danger or not get sick. So let's look at these things right here. Do you know what this is?
Plug.
It's a plug or an outlet. Do we want to stick things in there?
No.
Now, there are some things that are made to go in there, like if you want to plug something in, like a TV or a lamp or a clock, some things, but who should we let plug something in there?
Mommy and Daddy.
Mommy and Daddy. When you get to be a grown-up, then you can plug some things in there. But it's not your job to plug something in there. You don't want to stick anything in there. Only plugs go in there. You should not be sticking anything in there because you could get a shock, and that shock could really hurt you. So you don't want to stick anything into that electrical outlet. It's called an electrical outlet. Now let's look right here. What are those?
Scissors.
Should you run around in the house with scissors?
No.
Should you stick scissors in the electrical outlet?
No.
No. Scissors we have to be careful with. You should be sitting down when you're using scissors and never run around the house with them. Do you know what this is?
A spray bottle.
It is a spray bottle, but do you see it has these different colors on there? That tells me it has some chemicals in it. Chemicals. It might be a cleaning chemical, what Mommy uses to clean the windows or clean the kitchen or clean the toilet and the tub. Should we be touching those kind of things?
No.
No, we do not need to touch things. Maybe that might be under the sink in the kitchen or in a cabinet. We should not be touching those things. We should not drink those things. If you're going to drink something, you need to ask Mommy and Daddy first because that kind of stuff is not to go inside of our bodies. We shouldn't even get it on our hands at all. How about this right here? Do you know what this is?
Refrigerator.
It kind of looks like one, but it's actually a medicine cabinet. You might have one of those at your house, maybe in a bathroom, maybe above the sink. You might have one of those and it has a mirror and you open it up and there might be some things in there. You should not touch the things in there without Mommy and Daddy. Sometimes Mommy and Daddy keep medicine in there and things like that. And are we to take medicine without Mommy and Daddy? No, because you really could get sick. So sick that it might take you to the hospital sick. So you don't want to get into that stuff without Mommy and Daddy. What if Mommy's working in the kitchen and she's making something on the stove? Should you be touching the stove at any time?
No.
No, we should stay away from the stove, especially if it's hot. But even if it's not red, where the coils of the stove is getting hot and red, you shouldn't even touch it when it's not, because you just want to always stay safe. And then how about a toy box? You think, well, I have a toy box at my house. I can play with toys. Should you be climbing in it?
No.
No, we shouldn't play things like hide and go seek and things like that in there because you could get stuck in there. We want to stay safe in those kind of things. And then, oh, there's something that Mommy and Daddy might have. Should we play with matches?
No.
No, I have a story today about fire today. And so we need to stay away from matches and fire. But there's other places that might have danger too that we need to stay safe at. How about this right here? Do you know what this is? A playground. That's right, the playground. And look at these children. They look like they're being very safe. This little boy is going up the stairs. He's going up the stairs. This little girl is sitting on her bottom to go down the slide. She's not walking down the slide. She's not walking up the slide. She is sitting on her bottom, and she slid down the slide on her bottom. That's the way she should go. Should you be running around and pushing into people and knocking them down on the playground?
No.
No, you have to be careful when you're running. You can run around on the playground. That's what the playground's for, is to have fun. But don't knock into people when you do that. How about when you are playing, maybe you're on the swing. What do you think you should do when you're done with the swing?
make it stop.
Yes, you should make it stop. That way it doesn't hit somebody else when they go by. You should never run by the swing when somebody's on the swing, because you could get hit maybe by their feet when they stick their feet out, or when they come back, they can't see you and you might get hurt. So you want to be very careful when you're on the playground too, and be safe while you're on the playground. Well, I have something to show you today. I have a story about Amber Lamb and her cousin Lanny. What's her cousin's name? Lanny. Well, they were going to have a family dinner, and they thought it would be so fun if they did hot dogs, because it was the summertime. And what else goes with hot dogs? Do you know?
Fire.
What is it, Lucia?
Ketchup.
Well, ketchup does go with hot dogs. You are right. But what else would be fun to eat while you're out by the fire, a fire pit? It's something sweet. Marshmallows. They were going to make s'mores that night. S'mores is where you take some yummy chocolate and some yummy crackers and marshmallows, and you put it all together and you eat it, and it's so delicious. But you have to put the marshmallows on a stick, or the hot dogs on a stick, and you have to be very careful. And so Grandpa was over there that night, and he's the one that built the fire. And so he was helping Amber, and he was telling Amber all about how to stay safe around the fire pit. And he showed her how to get a bucket of water, and they kept the bucket of water by the fire pit in case something happened. Because when you're all done with a fire pit, you got to put the fire out. Especially if you go camping and you're out in the woods, when you're done with the fire, you got to put the fire out so that it doesn't burn up the grass or the woods. Well, so he was telling her all about how to stay safe, because you don't want to poke the fire. You don't want to throw things that are not supposed to go in the fire. You let the grown-ups do it to make sure the fire is still going. And you have to be safe around the fire. Well, and you can't get very close to it, and you shouldn't play by the fire, because you could get hurt and maybe fall in the fire, and then you could get burned really badly. Well, then came her cousin Lanny. He was riding his bike, and he rode his bike into the backyard, and he threw his bike down, and he ran over to Grandpa and gave him a big hug, and he said, "Hi, Grandpa. I can't wait to have hot dogs and s'mores." And Grandpa said, "Okay, but we have to talk about fire safety first." And he reminded him not to poke anything in the fire, not to run around and play around, that they had to stay safe. Well, Grandpa wanted to make sure everybody was having a good time, so he went in the house to go check on everybody that was coming for the party. Well, Lanny did something he should not have done. He picked up a stick, and what do you think he started doing?
Poke the fire.
He started poking the fire like this. And Amber said, "Lanny, don't poke the fire. Grandpa told us not to do that. It's going to get us in trouble, and we're going to get hurt." And Lanny said, "I can do what I want. I won't get hurt." And he kept poking that fire. Well, when Grandpa came out, he saw Lanny, and he said, "Lanny, stop poking the fire." Well, Lanny got scared, and he dropped the stick, and when he did that, the fire started to burn up the grass, and it was going and going and going. And so, but Grandpa said, "Amber, you know what to do." And Amber grabbed the bucket of water, and what did she do?
Pour it out of the stick.
Yes, that's why it was important to have that bucket of water ready just in case of an emergency. And she poured the water, and it burned out got rid of the fire, and it made the fire go away, because that's what it does. The water will squash the fire, and they were safe. And then Grandpa told Lanny that what he did was wrong, and that he should have listened to the rules and obeyed. And Lanny said, "I'm sorry, Grandpa, I didn't obey." And we could have gotten really, really hurt. Sometimes our consequences can make us get hurt. It not necessarily make us miss out on something, but it could be dangerous. That's why we have to follow the rules, whether it's rules in our classroom or rules at home or rules on the playground. We need to stay safe and think about the rules and follow them so that we can stay safe. And I'm glad that Laney learned his lesson that day, never to play around the fire. And I hope you remembered these safety rules either at home or on the playground, and definitely never play around a fire or with matches or around something that's hot like a stove. You want to stay safe always.